Alright, today I have the Samsung Galaxy A70s. It's been my primary phone for more than a month now, and although at first I was a little put off by the fact that it has very little incremental upgrade from the A70, now that I have used it for a significant number of days, I have a slight change in opinion. So, what changed? Well, let's talk all about it in this review. Okay, above all, the first thing I look for in a phone is a quality display. Because you interact with it all the time, it needs to be good. The A70s with its 6.7 inches Super AMOLED screen has given me an unforgettable display experience. This is by far among the best displays I have seen in a phone of this price range. And because this is an AMOLED panel, its contrast is simply amazing. I've had the best time watching YouTube content and even reading ebooks on it. The large screen enhances gaming experience as well. The phone also has Widevine L1 certification, so if you are someone who watches Netflix or Amazon content on your phone, then you can watch it in HD resolution. Additionally, the A70s gives you the option to go full screen with navigation gestures, which makes the already large screen look even bigger. What's also big in the phone is the battery size. Its large screen definitely needs a lot of power, which the phone generously provides with its 4500 mAh battery. On full charge, I got over a day with moderate usage, which I think is pretty good. Before the A70s, I also used the Note 8 Pro as my daily driver, which has the same 4000 mAh battery. But the A70s performs better mainly because of three reasons. Number one, the energy-efficient AMOLED display. Number two, MediaTek chipsets are not as efficient as the ones from Qualcomm. And number three, excellent software optimization on the A70s. So with a big display and excellent battery life at helm, I think the A70s is the best mid-range smartphone for multimedia experience. On the audio front, the precious 3.5mm headphone jack still lives on, and the audio quality from the single speaker is good if not great. The charging on the A70s too is quite fast. You get a 25-watt charger inside the box that charges the battery from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. Also, it's not your normal charger that has a USB-A to USB-C plugins. This one, like the Note 10 Plus, has a Type-C to Type-C outlet, which makes the power delivery faster than the USB-A outlets. Now, with the huge battery at helm, you might think that the phone is bulky and heavy. However, you get a slim and light form factor on the A70s. I don't know how Samsung has managed to achieve this, because I recently reviewed the A50s and it was light and thin as well despite featuring a big battery. And same is the case with the A70s. Phones from other manufacturers in the same price range have 4000 mAh batteries and a significantly bulky design. So kudos to Samsung for this. More about the design, the back of the A70s is plastic, which is slightly disappointing because the competing smartphones like the K20 Pro and the V70 Pro are giving a glass design. Still, the A70s's back looks good with its gradient pattern. Nevertheless, since it's plastic, it bears higher chances of getting scratched up. So if you're planning on getting this phone, you'd better case it up. By the way, you get a clear case inside the box, which for me has lasted well, and I think it will go on for 2 months or so. With Samsung, the display and design are almost always satisfactory, if not praiseworthy, but what's pathetic is their implementation of an in-display fingerprint sensor. The optical fingerprint reader on the A70s is slow and not that reliable either. There have been instances when it has refused to accept my fingerprints altogether. It was the same on the A50, the A50s, the A70, and now the legacy continues with the A70s. I really do hope that Samsung looks into this in its future offerings. The Face Unlock 2 is nothing to write home about. It is relatively slower than the Chinese phones out there, but since it's software-based and not very reliable, I kept it shut altogether. Okay, now let's get to the performance. The A70s uses the same chipset as the Galaxy A70, the Snapdragon 675. And though it is an excellent mid-range chipset, for the price the phone asks, I had expected more, considering the K20 Pro offers the best-in-class processor for more or less a similar price. When comparing the benchmarks, you can see by just how much the K20 Pro trumps over the A70s. Take PUBG gameplay for example. In the K20 Pro, you can have a smooth experience even in ultra frame rate and HD graphics, but here the maximum you can go is high frame rates and HD graphics. And even in the recommended settings, you will experience some lags here and there. So I would advise you to play PUBG in medium settings to get a smoother gameplay experience. Having said that, normal performance is very good and will not disappoint you in any way. The UI here does not feel slow or laggy, which was the case with the Samsung M30s and the A50s, which feature the Exynos 9611. And because One UI is one of my favorite Android skins, I have been waiting for the One UI 2.0 to arrive on the A70s, which is scheduled for sometime in April. Okay, other things aside, what I have really liked about the A70s is its cameras. And although the only difference in the camera specs from last time is a jump from 32 to 64 megapixel primary camera, the cameras on the A70s is totally praiseworthy. Spec-wise, you get the triple cameras in a horizontal fashion here. There is a 64 megapixel primary lens with Samsung's own GW1 sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide angle lens, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. Talking about the primary lens, the images produced have the right balance of saturation and contrast, and so the photos from the A70s look very pleasing. However, if you want an extra pop in colors, you can use the Scene Optimizer feature, which you will have to manually turn on by going into the settings. Despite the Redmi Note 8 Pro and the Realme XT using the same GW1 sensor, the images on the A70s is far livelier in comparison. Hence, Samsung's software optimization is spot on. The ultra-wide-angle images too have the same kind of color reproduction as the main lens. This is certainly the kind of camera that you like to capture landscapes with. Check out the samples I took and do let me know in the comments below if you like them. Portrait images are not the best when it comes to edge detection though, but they certainly do look nice with good colors and natural looking bokeh. And you can also change the background effect and blur amount before and after taking pictures, so you can choose by yourself the amount of bokeh you like. However, Samsung has skipped the 2x telephoto lens on the A70s while the market is flooding with smartphones with one. Moving on to low light performance, I think this is the one area where the A70s shines as compared to its predecessor, the A70. The nighttime images, while a little noisy, are surprisingly brighter and better after the camera processes it. There's also a dedicated night mode whose images are substantially brighter than the normal nighttime images. The cameras seem to do a lot of processing, which makes the end result bright and slightly more detailed. Also, I did not find it to overexpose the images like we saw on the much cheaper M30s and A50s. So the night mode here does a fine job. Video-wise, you get options of shooting in HD, FHD and UHD, among which the FHD mode is stabilized thanks to the EIS. And the video quality, I must say, is up to the mark. The UHD videos lack stabilization despite having a good amount of colors and details. You also have an option to shoot wide-angle videos or super steady mode videos, which are again pretty stabilized. But still, Samsung does not provide you with the option to go from normal to wide-angle option in the same video. Maybe it is because of some kind of hardware limitation because the Note 10 Plus comes equipped with one. Also, you cannot shoot in 60 FPS in any resolution on the A70s, which is unusual for a camera of this potential. Now, let's get to the selfies. You get a 32 megapixel sensor, and looking at these images, you be the judge. The photos have pleasing colors with okay-ish details. More importantly, the skin tone looks really good. Selfie portraits look equally pleasing, though it's the software that's producing the bokeh here. There's a negligible degree of inaccuracy in edge detection here and there, but I am willing to give it the benefit of doubt because the end result isn't downright miserable. And as it is with other Samsung phones, you get slow-mo, super slow-mo and hyperlapse features on the A70s as well. So like I said in the beginning, I don't hold the same opinion about the A70s after getting to use it. Though there is very little upgrade from the A70 to the A70s, especially in the performance department, the A70s is still a good phone, especially for the multimedia fanatics out there. Its huge AMOLED display paired with the large battery makes it a holy grail for people who indulge in YouTube or other content streaming platforms. And with the recent price drop, the A70s has managed to make a mark as a viable mid-range option. But again, if it had gone with a better chipset like the Snapdragon 730G or even last generation flagship Exynos chipset, it would have catered every audience, including the gamers. So if you are a hardcore gamer, I would advise you to go with the K20 Pro. Otherwise, the Galaxy A70s ticks all the boxes of a good mid-ranger. So that was all for our review of the Samsung Galaxy A70s. Tell us what you think about the device in the comment section below. Till then, I'm Pratima Adhikari and I'll see you in the next one.